Hi, it's Teresa with Crafty with Teresa. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today I'd like to go ahead and show you one of the alternates that we looked at or talked about in our last video where we were going over the paper pumpkin card kit. Here are just some of the supplies I'm thinking of using. This is one of the actual alternates that I've made of this card. I took this piece, which was a full insert. I cut it, and I just basically looked for a good spot and then filled it in with some balloons. And so I kind of did that, and that's one of the alterations, not very much to that. But I did want to show you that I'm thinking of doing another one here, and I've got all my supplies out here thinking through this. If you haven't followed me for a while, when I'm designing, I like to have everything in front of me as I'm creating. So sometimes it looks like chaos, and in reality it's just me trying to think through what might look best. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and start pulling this stuff away because I have an idea of what I want to do. And just so you know, stay with me because I have other cards to show you here today. But this card, my plan is to try to create a mini slimline card from this. So let's get started. Now I'm going to take advantage of this card base. We're going to actually cut it down, and I'll go over that in just a second. But the one thing that I want to decide first, because I'm doing my cutting right now, is which one of these envelopes do I want to use. I did not like this. Originally I thought about that, but I think I like this better with this color. So what my plan is, really simple. I'm going to take this. You see it fits right in there, and I'm just going to border it because that's going to go about right there. So that's the first plan. I decided I don't think I'm going to use this for this one, but I would like to just point something out for you. You decided you wanted to make a masculine card out of this. I think this would be beautiful. This Country Woods would be beautiful in the background. If not that, even this color would be really nice looking in the background for a masculine card. We're going to make this card with what we have from the paper pumpkin kit, and I'm trying to use very little outside of the kit, but it may work out that I use items outside of the kit. So let's cut this down first. I think if I play my cards right, I think I might be able to just use this and not have to do a whole lot more. That is, I want to take this part off first. And I know I'm going to cut this down. Oh, before I forget, this is the base. I already have it cut for you. I thought, because you're going to actually be writing on the inside of this, I thought, wouldn't this be beautiful with an embossing folder? So I have this beautiful embossing folder, and it's called Dashing Designs 3D Embossing Folder. That's what it's called. And doesn't it look beautiful? To me, it reminds me of a quilt. So I'm going to run this through. This is my base, and it should be 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. This is my base for my slimline. And here's going to be the actual card. So I guess if you want to flip that around, that could be the panel, and this would be the card. We're going to cut this down, and I'm going to cut this. I want a little bit of that white showing because remember, we're going to be embossing that. So I'm going to cut this down to 2 and I think we're going to make that 2 1/4. See how big that is. I think that's great. That'll leave plenty on the outside edge. But we're going to cut this down to 2 1/4 straight across, and now we have the cute little card base that we can write in. Change my mind. I'm going to make it 2 1/2. Let's take this envelope, and I'm going to cut it off at the top right here right at the crease. We'll save the leftover piece of the envelope because I can use more of that as borders for other cards. Now I'm going to fidget through here, and if you've been watching my channel, you know I'm not a big fan of measuring. I'm more of a let's wing it type person. But I will provide the measurements for you as I fidget and fidget, and if need be, I'll make a sliver here and there onto this balloon strip. What I'm thinking is, let's take this piece from the envelope and border my little balloon strip. I think it will look good to border the top and the bottom and leave it flush on the sides. I'll show you this here in a minute. So it looks like I'm going to need 1 1/4 by 4 1/2 of this envelope border piece. I'll line this up on my trimmer first by getting a good straight cut. Then I'll find the line on my trimmer and get all 4 sides cut. I did want to show you a little tip. If you don't already know this, when you have items that you need to keep secure, I grab a piece of washi tape. I always have one here handy at my desk, and I tape it down with that washi tape so I can kind of make sure it doesn't wiggle as I'm trying to cut it. So that takes care of that. Now, let's take a look at the card. I'm going to take the base that's already scored and ready to go, and we're actually going to use our trimmer to cut it at 2 1/2. Now that actually leaves us 2 more pieces of cardstock for more cards. And you know, I'm not finished yet. I'm still working on more alternatives. Now look how cute this is. I just think it's adorable. You'll open it like this, and here's where you can write what you want to send to family and friends. Now I'm going to grab a few more things and I'll be right back. One thing, this is a very thick folder. I'm not sure if it needs it, but just in case, I'm going to spritz my cardstock with a little bit of water because I want to make sure that this is damp just a little bit. I really want to make sure that this has some flexibility when we run this through the die cutting and embossing machine. So we're going to come back to this, but I've already got everything set up and ready to go. I'll show you a little technique with that, how we're going to do that, especially when it's already been torn out, when you have a die cut like that, or punch out in this case. Then the other thing that we're going to do is we have finished our quilted. Isn't that just beautiful? I just think that turned out so good. So that's ready to go. That's going to be our base. I'm not sure which side yet, probably this side. But we're going to do our stamping next. So the technique I wanted to show you today, this is really simple, and I just basically, a couple things. First, to line up my stamp, if you've watched me for a while, you know this is what I do. I actually take my stamp and I set it on my mat and I line it up straight and I set it down like this to see if it's going to work. Unfortunately, I have to do it close to me. Yes, it is going to work. It's going to be great. We're going to use Night of Navy. The other trick that I wanted to show you is these are inserts to photo albums where back in the day, they still do it, used to put your pictures in here. And that's how you did scrapbooking, photo albums. Let's put it this way. That's how I used to do it. I'm talking about my age here. I'm showing my age. So what I do is if I need something, I don't have a sticky mat. So if I need something to stick and not move around on me, I'll use this. And I'll set it down, and I'm going to do this, unfortunately, upside down so that I can see. But I will bring it back. And this is what I use to make sure that this does not move around while I'm trying to decide how to do this. So we'll ink this up. I have not used this. So I'm going to do a sample real quick. Oh, that's going to work just perfectly. Okay. We're going to put that right there. And there you have it. Now, there are a few ways that you can do this. I'm going to kind of talk through those ways, and then more than likely, I'm just going to make a decision on this. So one of the ways that you could do it is you could take your little crocodile and you can punch a hole here or a hole here and tie your ribbon right there at the top, and then you'd have a cute little ribbon. Well, I started to do that, and so I changed my mind. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to seal this at the top. I'll put my ribbon in here, tie a little bow over here. I want that to be kind of closed up a little bit, maybe a knot, maybe not a bow. I decided that I like that idea better. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to put a piece of tape in here, a very, very small piece of tape. And then on the top of it, I'm going to put this beautiful ribbon. Okay. And once I do that, I'm going to kind of get an idea. I'm just winging this because I haven't measured anything yet. I'm thinking about that much, maybe that much. Now here is the tear and tape that I grabbed from one of my previous kits. They do have this on the Stampin' Up! Website, and I'll have all that information in the description box for you. You just tear it off, nice and simple. I will dab a little bit of my glue on the edges right here once we've put our thread down. Then we'll crease it really well with our bone folder. Now, another trick for you, if you would rather have a little bit more time, you could put some glue all the way across there and set it on the glue. We're a little closer to the top. Now we're going to close that up, and it's going to secure that for us. So let's do that. I'm going to tie our knot right here. So now that this is nice and secure, one thing I am going to do is I put a little bit of that tear and tape right there. the piece of the tear and tape, just a tad, so that I can actually tie and secure it there. It's what I had on hand, so I just grabbed it, and I'll make it stick right there. So I'll tie it and find my little mark here. I'm just going to tie it in a knot, and that'll secure that. Look how cute this is. Because this is an embossing folder, I am going to use the tear and tape one more time. And I'm going to go ahead and put that tape on the bottom. Anytime I'm working with embossing folders, I try to be very careful and to use tear and tape. It really, really helps a lot to have that double security when you're working with embossing folders. Okay, take this off, put this here, and then we'll add the rest of the fun designs. Now we'll give that a good press. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are returning viewers. If you're new, I would love it if you'd subscribe and join me as I put out new videos each week. But if you have been with me for a while, I want to thank you so much for sticking with me. I really appreciate you very much. So I'm just going to glue all this down right here. Once we have that done, this card will be finished, and it will be an alternate. So instead of getting 9 cards, you're actually going to get, so there'll be, of the balloons, I have now created 4 cards with the balloons, but I still have more to do. So isn't that adorable? But I love it. I love this quilted folder. I like making different cards. Unfortunately, I can't show you all the cards that I've made because I've already given one away, but I did want to show you this, and I don't even know if I got a picture of it. That's how crazy my life is at all times. So this is an alternate. In my video a few days ago, I actually showed you the original one, the original balloon card, and that was with this base, and I'll link that for you. But I wanted to show you this. This is what we have left, and we're not even finished. So we have this, we have the remaining piece of this. I thought it would be kind of awesome to back those and possibly make that into a gatefold card. That's my thought for that. Using this, possibly doing the gatefold card this way. And I wanted to show you this. The kit comes with these balloons. However, if you have any bronze embossing powder, you could make these designs just using what came with the stamp set. It doesn't have to be this large balloon in the middle. You could absolutely use these balloons and create your own design in there. And then, of course, again, we could cut up this envelope. We still have this happy birthday. Have lots of sentiments in my ephemera that I would just be able to use for this. One more thing before I go away. Remember, this was our card that we made together. And we'll untie this. And this is the fun fold card that came in the paper pumpkin kit. And you untie this, and here's where you write your message. So I'm going to take what's remaining here, and we've got a few of these left. My goal is to create some more out of these, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, we have a few of these left. I have this one still not finished, but it's ready to go. I'm going to take this one and I'm actually going to cut it apart. We still have these Make-A-Wish. I'm going to cut it apart, and I may make this a diagonal card by cutting this apart. Still working through that, so that's why this isn't finished. But what I wanted to show you is I actually made, with some additional embossing folders, I love embossing folders because they can really step up your cards. I will include this embossing folder in the description box, but it's absolutely the most beautiful design. But I will probably use these once I run out of this panel or this card base, depending on how you're going to make these cards. And I'll probably use these. So still working through that, but I wanted to get something out to show you. I did have someone ask if I could show them an alternative card. And these are some of the alternative cards and some of the ideas from the alternative cards. Once I get those finished, I'll probably put those out in a post. Probably not another video because I have Christmas cards that I'm working on, so that probably won't be a video. So here's a look at some of the other alternate cards that I was able to get finished and actually remembered to take pictures before I gave them away. I think I mentioned that I've already given a few of these away. I hope you liked these cards today, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope they gave you ideas and inspirations. Well, that's what I have for you today. Thank you again for joining me. Until next time, have a great day.